Have you ever felt like the world is against you, like every step you take, something pulls you back? Imagine standing alone in the dark, dreams in your heart but obstacles surrounding you from all sides. Your friends laugh at your ideas, your family doubts you, and society tells you, you can't do it. Yet, deep inside, a tiny voice whispers, keep going, don't give up. Tonight, in this story, you will meet someone who faced the impossible. They had nothing, no support, no guide, only a burning dream and courage that refused to die. Every failure felt like a knife in the heart, every rejection like a storm crashing down. But somehow, through pain, tears, and endless nights of struggle, they kept moving forward. Will they succeed or will the darkness swallow them forever? Stay with me and watch a journey that will shake your soul and ignite your own dreams. Meet Aisha, a young girl with dreams bigger than her small world. Ever since she was a child, she imagined herself reaching heights that no one around her believed possible. Her family struggled to make ends meet, friends laughed at her ambitions, and every step forward seemed to bring 10 more obstacles. She worked in silence, studying late at night, taking small jobs to survive, yet never letting go of the fire inside. Her heart ached with doubt, fear, and loneliness, but her spirit refused to surrender. Every no she heard felt like a weight, yet every failure sharpened her determination. She knew that giving up was not an option, that her dreams were worth every tear, every sleepless night, every scar life left on her soul. As you follow her journey, you will feel the tension, the hope, and the courage that pushed Aisha toward a destiny she never imagined possible. Aisha grew up in a tiny, crowded house where dreams felt like luxuries she could never afford. Even as a little girl, she noticed how the world around her limited what girls could do, yet she refused to accept those limits. She spent hours drawing, writing, and imagining a life far beyond the narrow streets she walked every day. Her parents worked tirelessly, barely making enough to pay bills, and often told her to be realistic, yet Aisha carried a secret fire inside that refused to die. School was a battlefield of ridicule and doubt. Classmates mocked her ambitions, teachers overlooked her potential, and still she learned quietly, absorbing knowledge like a sponge hungry for opportunity. Every night, under the dim light of a flickering lamp, she whispered to herself about the future she would create, a life where she could prove everyone wrong. Every small success, like acing a test or winning a tiny school prize, felt like a victory against the world, fueling her courage and determination. Aisha knew from a young age that her dreams were not just wishes, they were promises she made to herself, promises she was willing to fight for no matter how harsh reality became. As you watch her journey unfold, you will see how these early dreams became the foundation of a story that would inspire millions. Just when Aisha thought she could take one step closer to her dreams, reality struck harder than she ever imagined. Her father fell ill, leaving the family struggling even more financially, and suddenly her world felt smaller, heavier, impossible. She tried to continue her studies, but the weight of responsibility forced her to take small jobs after school, delivering groceries, cleaning houses, anything that could help her family survive. Her classmates continued to laugh at her worn shoes, her tired eyes, her quiet determination, and every mocking word felt like a chain around her spirit. Yet, inside, a stubborn fire refused to die. Aisha stayed up late every night, exhausted but determined, writing in a small notebook, dreaming of a future that seemed farther than ever. She faced rejection from teachers who said she wasn't ready, from neighbors who scoffed at her ambitions, and even from herself, when self-doubt crept in during lonely nights. But each challenge, each setback, instead of breaking her, sharpened her focus, forcing her to think smarter, work harder, and fight silently while the world assumed she would fail. She learned that dreams were not easy. They demanded pain, sacrifice, and courage she never knew she had. Aisha realized that the first major obstacle was only the beginning, a test of her strength, a moment that would define whether she would sink into despair or rise into a story that could inspire millions. Despite all her effort, one day everything seemed to collapse at once. Aisha failed an important exam that could have changed her future, and her part-time job didn't pay enough to cover her family's growing needs. Suddenly, all the sacrifices, the late nights, the endless struggles felt meaningless. Her heart sank as she watched her younger siblings sleep peacefully while she lay awake, wondering if she was strong enough to carry the weight of her dreams and her family alone. Tears blurred her vision, frustration and hopelessness clawed at her, and for the first time, she felt like giving up. She walked through the empty streets, the cold wind biting her cheeks, questioning if the world had made a mistake by giving her such big dreams in a life so unforgiving. Every rejection, every failure, every harsh word from others echoed in her mind like a relentless storm. Aisha felt trapped in a cage built by reality itself, and the tiny fire inside her flickered dangerously, almost fading away. Yet even in that dark moment, deep down, a whisper reminded her of who she was, of the promises she had made to herself, and of the life she refused to let slip away. She realized that this despair was not the end but a turning point, a moment that would force her to confront her fears, rebuild her courage, and find a strength she never knew existed, shaping the path to a destiny far greater than the pain she felt now. Just when Aisha thought she could not bear any more pain, a small opportunity appeared that would change everything. That a local teacher noticed her dedication and quietly offered guidance, encouraging her to focus on her strengths and reminding her of the potential she had always ignored. She hesitated at first, unsure if trusting someone again after so many failures was wise, but something inside her shifted, a spark reignited. Aisha began to see a path where before there had only been walls. She discovered new ways to study smarter, balancing work and learning. And slowly her confidence returned. Every challenge she faced now seemed like a puzzle she could solve instead of an insurmountable obstacle. The more she applied herself, the more she realized that failure was not a punishment but a lesson, and every setback became a stepping stone rather than a barrier. The encouragement from someone who believed in her was like sunlight breaking through years of darkness, warming her resolve and giving her the courage to push forward with renewed energy. She stayed awake many nights planning, learning, and imagining the life she wanted, and for the first time in a long time, hope felt real, tangible, alive. Aisha knew that the turning point was not just an event but a mindset, a decision to rise above despair, to embrace struggle as a teacher, and to move toward a destiny that demanded courage, persistence, and faith in herself. The story that follows shows how this moment transformed a girl burdened by obstacles into a young woman unstoppable, ready to face the next challenges with a heart full of determination and dreams unshaken by fear. From that turning point onward, Aisha poured every ounce of her energy into her dreams, embracing hard work and sacrifice like never before. Early mornings became her classroom, late nights her laboratory of ideas. She juggled multiple jobs while attending school, her body tired, her mind stretched, yet her spirit refused to bend. Every small achievement was celebrated silently. Every failure studied carefully to learn lessons that others would overlook. She missed birthdays, outings, and the carefree life of her friends, choosing instead to focus on building a future that seemed impossibly distant yet undeniably hers. Aisha's sacrifices weighed heavily on her heart, but each act of persistence added bricks to the foundation of her dreams. She faced moments of doubt when exhaustion threatened to break her, when financial struggles forced her to question if the fight was worth it, yet she kept moving forward, fueled by the vision of a life where her efforts would finally bloom. In the quiet hours of the night, she wrote plans, set goals, and reminded herself that the pain of today was the seed of tomorrow's victory. Her determination became a shield against despair, a force stronger than fear, a proof that nothing could stop someone who refused to quit. She learned that true success demanded patience, resilience, and relentless action, that dreams were earned through sweat and tears rather than handed by luck or fortune. Aisha's journey through hardship was not glamorous, but it was real, raw, and inspiring, and every step she took, no matter how small, carried her closer to the moment where all her struggles would turn into triumph and her story would light a path for millions who dared to dream against all odds. Just when Aisha began to feel that her sacrifices were paying off, life threw another harsh challenge in her path. A critical project she had worked tirelessly on was rejected by a mentor she deeply respected, leaving her devastated. The rejection felt like a punch to her chest, shaking the confidence she had rebuilt over months of struggle. Her heart raced with doubt and frustration, and for a moment, she questioned everything she had endured. Were all the sleepless nights, missed celebrations, and endless sacrifices worth this pain. Even her friends who once supported her seemed distant now, and loneliness wrapped around her like a heavy blanket. However, deep inside, Aisha knew this setback was not the end. It was a test of resilience. She took a step back, allowing herself to feel the disappointment fully, yet she refused to let it define her. She analyzed every mistake, every overlooked detail, and began planning her next move with renewed focus. The world had challenged her once again, demanding more courage, more patience, and more determination than ever before. Aisha realized that setbacks were not walls but doors to growth, that each rejection carried a lesson disguised in pain, and that persistence in the face of adversity would eventually lead her closer to the success she had fought so fiercely to achieve. This unexpected setback, though crushing, became the forge that strengthened her spirit, shaping her into a force capable of overcoming even greater obstacles. After months of relentless effort, sacrifices, and countless setbacks, Aisha finally reached the moment she had dreamed of for years. Every challenge, every tear, every lonely night had led her to this point. Her hard work on the projects, her persistence in learning, and her refusal to surrender were paying off. She received recognition from mentors she once feared would never notice her, opportunities she had only imagined now opening before her eyes. The moment she stepped onto the stage to accept her first award, emotions overwhelmed her. Joy, relief, and pride collided in her heart. She remembered the nights she cried alone, the doubts that almost defeated her, the moments she thought quitting was easier than fighting, and she realized that every struggle had been necessary to reach this triumph. Aisha knew that success was not just a title or recognition, but the journey she endured to achieve it, the resilience, courage, and determination that had transformed her from a girl burdened by obstacles into a woman unstoppable in her pursuit of dreams. Her family watched with tears in their eyes, friends cheered, and even strangers were inspired by her story. Aisha felt the weight of every sacrifice lift, replaced by a sense of accomplishment that filled her soul. She understood that true achievement was not the applause, but the proof that dreams are possible for anyone willing to fight relentlessly against all odds. This triumph was a beacon, not just for herself, but for millions who would hear her story and find courage to chase their own dreams, no matter the obstacles that lay in their path. As Aisha looked back on her journey, she realized that every struggle, every tear, every sleepless night had shaped her into the person she had become. She remembered the fear that once held her back, the obstacles that seemed impossible, and the moments when quitting felt like the only choice. Yet she had pushed forward with relentless determination. Aisha understood that life does not hand out dreams easily, it tests the strength of those who dare to chase them. She reflected on the power of patience, persistence, and self-belief, knowing that success is never instant but built through continuous effort and courage. She wanted the world to know that failure is not the end but a teacher, rejection is not defeat but a lesson, and obstacles are not walls but stepping stones toward greatness. Aisha's story proved that dreams are achievable for anyone willing to fight through adversity, embrace sacrifices, and trust their own strength. She encouraged others to hold onto their dreams tightly, to keep moving forward even when the path is dark, and to believe in themselves when no one else does. The journey had not only changed her life but had become a beacon of hope for millions, showing that with courage, resilience, and unwavering faith, anyone can overcome challenges and create a future beyond their wildest imagination. Aisha's life was a living testament that determination, hard work, and hope can turn dreams into reality, inspiring others to rise above obstacles and never give up on what their heart truly desires. Aisha's journey ended not with a single victory, but with the proof that courage, perseverance, and faith can conquer the darkest obstacles. She had transformed from a frightened, struggling girl into a woman whose dreams were no longer just wishes but living realities. Each tear, each setback, each lonely night had forged her spirit into something unbreakable. Her story is not just hers, it belongs to anyone who has faced doubt, rejection, or fear and still chose to rise. Every listener who hears this story should feel the fire within, the unshakable belief that no matter how impossible life seems, determination can create miracles. Aisha's life reminds us that obstacles are temporary, dreams are eternal, and the strength to achieve them lies within every heart. Walk your path with courage, embrace the struggles, and remember that every step forward brings you closer to the destiny you were born to reach. This is the power of relentless hope, and Aisha's story proves it forever.